grew up in Miami, Florida. I was born and raised here, which is still unusual. It's still unusual. It's such a transient community. But I was born here and in an airline family, National Airlines, which I don't know who remembers it, but it was based in Miami. And my first awareness of art of any kind was storytelling. And that was because my mother's brother, Douglas Fairbairn, was a writer and a novelist and a screenwriter, but he was my uncle. And he was often my babysitter when my parents had to travel. My brother was older by about 10 years, so nobody worried about him. But I had to be kind of looked after. And because my uncle was a writer, he had these great stretches of time that he was available. And he would come and we would read. I was very young when I was really reading. And he wrote these incredible books, but he would read things to me. Like he would try pages out on me. I was maybe 4 or 5. And he would read pages and he'd say, "What do you think?" And he sincerely wanted to know. And what he would say to me later was, "If I could get through to you, Suze, when you were 4 and 5, because you were pretty smart about this stuff, then I know I was probably going in the right direction." So my uncle was the one who encouraged me to read and encouraged me to write and encouraged me to think of storytelling as a particularly persuasive thing to know. He said, "It's not lying when you're making stuff up, but you have to decide if you're making up fiction or you're studying nonfiction. So you're truthful. And sometimes nonfiction isn't interesting. So you have to know how to make it interesting." So anyway, that would be often what we would do. But the irony is that was like the late 50s, early 60s in Miami. And we had very little sports here too. And my uncle had gone to Harvard. So imagine he is an unemployed writer with time on his hands, and he's babysitting his niece. And on the TV are all these baseball games. And he would sit there and he would tell me about the Red Sox. So we would watch the Red Sox. And he would tell me about the players. He would tell me how interesting they were. He'd be telling me about the game and what you were supposed to look for. And I remember these periods as just being so wonderful because my parents traveled a lot, and they would leave me with this delightful man who really invested me with so much encouragement of just listening and writing and being present in the world. So through books, through poetry, through theater.